Okay, so here goes part 2 of, I guess my adoption story. I'm not sure where I left off. I can't remember. Anyways, so I found my grandfather, and he was living in BC on a little island, and every time we spoke, he would tell me a little bit more about her. She did have 5 other kids, all of whom she'd lost to the government, either directly at birth or shortly after birth. Her lifestyle was just proving to be too much. And now, I know a lot of people have said to me, like, oh, she should have stopped having kids, she should have done this, she should have done that. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as, this was a woman who, through trial and error and whatever, she proved that she did, I think she did definitely want to try. She wanted to be the best mother she could be. For whatever reason, she was absolutely incapable of doing it. So, I mean, we can hold resentments and say she shouldn't have had kids, but she wasn't having them because she was just irresponsible. I think she definitely believed in her heart she could do it, and she wanted to do it, and she wanted to love a child. And I also believe that when the way the government handled her when I was apprehended, I don't think she ever got over that, because she was working hard to get me back. Like, it wasn't that she just abandoned me. Like, she didn't understand the rules or the laws or how do you do things. And back then, you know, that's 28 years ago, they didn't tell you. So anyways, I've decided, so at this point in my life, I'm actually living on Vancouver Island. My grandfather doesn't know where any of the other kids are, just, you know, the years they were born. She always sent a picture of them and sent him letters. So anyways, I talked to her. I don't want to go over the first video again, but I did talk to her on the phone a couple times. She was intoxicated. She was living in East Hastings in Vancouver, one of the roughest, most just, I can't even, I don't know what word I could use. It's like hell in Canada. It's like, just like where all the lost souls gather. That's the only way I can explain it. So she was living in this area in Canada, or in Vancouver, and she was in the hospital a lot. I mean, I'd call her at this place, and she was always in the hospital. But she was never there for long periods of time, and I assumed it was her lifestyle. I assumed maybe she had drug overdoses or hurt herself being intoxicated. I didn't know. I never really asked. Our conversations didn't get very deep when we did talk, so. Anyways, so I decided I'm going to go visit her, and I phoned my grandfather just before to confirm her address, just before I get on the ferry. And I guess I don't know, I just needed to talk to him. He's so nice. So he's 89 years old, and he tells me that he has one more thing he should tell me before I go. Also giving me her new address, which was still in the same area, just a different place. He said, Chantel, your mother has what you would call HIV/AIDS. And, oh my God, I'll never forget it. I was standing at the payphone, and there's cars behind, you know, getting ready to go on the ferry. And I looked around, I thought, oh, for God's sakes, could you not have told me this a year earlier or something? Just like, that's a lot to deal with, right? So at this point, my entire reunion and my entire little fantasy I'd created in my head growing up as a child was not only blown out the water, I mean, it was completely dissolved, like it was just gone. So I decided, I'm like, well, you can't just turn around now, and I mean, whatever. It wasn't that I was afraid of catching it, it was a loss. I mean, a loss of my dream, I guess. And so anyways, I did get on the ferry, I did go down, we took a taxi to the place, and I got there, and it was a very strange building. It was like an apartment building, but there was weird, different agencies, I guess, ran this building. So she lived in the hospice, and so I realized, okay, she's on her like deathbed, basically. Hospice is a place where you go to die in peace and with the comforts that you can have. So just as I opened the door to go into the building, this woman walks out, and I saw her, and I thought, oh dear God, like, she just looked so sick. She was like 5'2" and skinny, skinny, maybe 80, maybe 90 pounds. Almost no hair, sores all over her face. I remember she had hiking boots and jogging pants. It was a hot summer day. Jogging pants on with hiking boots and a big overgrown t-shirt, like a purple t-shirt. It was way too big for her. And I saw her and I'm like, oh my god. And I said to myself, okay, look on the bright side. That's not your mother because she's leaving. Right? Couldn't have been worse than that. So, not a nice thing to think, okay? But at this point, I'm being fairly selfish. This is my reunion, and this is what I don't know. It was my last hope for normal family, I guess. So, I get upstairs, and this nurse greets me, and she's very sweet. And she said, well, you just missed your mother. You probably saw her on the way out. I said, pardon? And they said, well, she was getting a little anxious and nervous to meet you, so she had to go for a walk and calm down. I said, no, I didn't see her. And they said, no, you probably did. And I'm freaking out, going, no, please, 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 just, God, just give me one break. And anyways, it was her, the woman I looked at and thought, thank God that's not her, that was her. So she comes upstairs after her little walk, and she sees me and she panics and she leaves. She waves at me and walks off to her room. And the nurse explained to me the alcohol damage was so severe that she, from drinking, that she was now at basically a 3-year-old's level of intelligence in some ways. So it's like talking to an adult with 3-year-old behaviors. It was very, very strange. I actually never knew alcohol could do such damage. And not to mention the HIV and the she'd had pneumonia. That's why she'd been in the hospital all those times, was she kept getting pneumonia and sicker. So finally, me and her are sitting down and we're talking, and she's cute. She's actually got the most brilliant green eyes. They're ginormous, and she's cute, she's sweet. And she told me that she really was sorry, and that she was sorry for all of the kids that she had, and that she really just wanted to love us. And I believe her. I mean, she meant it. Didn't work out right, but she meant it. That's something that I could take away from that. And she had my brothers and sisters' baby pictures. They were all over the world. Like, I didn't think I'd find them. Anyways, we left on good terms. I had one picture of me and her taken, and within a month and a half of meeting her, she passed away. Meningitis got into her brain, and she just couldn't fight the infection anymore. But she passed away completely forgiven. I forgave her on behalf of my brothers and sisters too. I just knew if they were related to me, they would anyways. That's just sort of like, I don't know. Even if they wouldn't, she didn't need to know that. So, the good news is through the names on the pictures and through some of the people that helped, we managed to find all my brothers and sisters. I mean, including a 7-year-old sister. And everybody was living, weirdly enough, on Vancouver Island, except one was living in Vancouver. And the story just gets a bit weirder, because this woman phoned me and she said, hi, Chantal, I'm Julie. And I said, hi. And she's like, we're very close. And I said, okay. And she said, I'm Nick's mom. And I'm like, okay. And now Nick is my birth brother. And I said, okay. And she said, no, we're really close. And I was getting creeped out. I thought she meant I was like invading on her territory or something. And I said, well, I don't want to come between anyone. I just wanted to find my birth family. She said, no, you and I are very close. I'm like, what? Well, the family that had adopted me, the father of my adopted father, his sister also adopted kids, but they lived in a different province at the time. And it turned out, by fluke, complete fluke, no one knew because it was a different province. My Auntie Julie had adopted my brother Nick. So Nick, who I grew up as my cousin, has turned out to be my brother. And it's been pretty awesome that I found everybody, and we're all very similar in very many weird ways, and yet totally different.